So the initial idea for this video's opening was to have an animated sequence, but then I realised I can't be arsed. So here's to all the animators who can be arsed, who put their blood, sweat and tears into their pieces of work.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Movies and Milk 30-day film challenge. Today both myself and Michael will be discussing our favourite animated movies of all time. To me personally, today's question was the most difficult of the days so far. Of course, like many people, I am a fan of animations, and I believe that I could speak for everyone in saying that animations were the first films that we were exposed to as kids, and are predominantly the reason as to why both myself and Michael are massive lovers of film. There were so many choices that made my shortlist for this video, but of course you can only pick one for the terms and conditions of the video. Michael, you need to change this. You need. Speaking of which, who gave Captain Pinkshirt full control of the channel, eh? So of course I whittled it down to one film, and that film is The Prince of Egypt. The Prince of Egypt, in my mind, has one of the best casting crews that have ever been put forward for an animated film. You've got Val Kilmer, you've got Ralph Fiennes, Sandra Bullock, amongst a plethora of very, very gifted voice talents. And to top that off, you've also got Hans Zimmer lending his musical abilities to the film. The Prince of Egypt focuses in on the story of Moses, which can be found in the Old Testament of the Bible, and is a surprisingly executed and well-composed film that details the themes of religion and faith. I used to watch this film in my own time about 4 or 5 times a year, and on top of that, of going to a Catholic school, this was always played before the Christmas holidays, the Easter holidays, the day before the summer holidays, on your teacher's birthday, when the gym teachers didn't bring the football pumps, when your physics teacher was exposed for talking to a 14-year-old student, to name but a few examples. This was always shown on a special occasion throughout... This was always shown on a special occasion throughout my years at school. There you are, how hard was that? How hard? And having been raised as a Roman Catholic throughout my life, this was the film that I always came back to learn something about the Bible. Of course, the mindset of a child growing up, especially when you go to church, you don't truly have that attention span to read page for page of the Bible. So this was always the film that I came back to. This was always the film that got me excited when talking or discussing about the Bible. And so many of these great adaptations have been taken and extracted from the Bible and made into film adaptations. And I honestly couldn't disagree with the attempts that filmmakers have made to try and replicate the teachings of what the Bible was trying to expose to us. The musical compositions to this film, as I mentioned earlier, Hans Zimmer is the composer of this film. This is, again in my mind, the greatest soundtrack for an animated film of all time. I mean, you have Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston performing a beautiful rendition of the song When You Believe. It's absolutely beautiful and so fitting for the message of the film. And personally, one of my all-time favourite songs, a song called Deliverers, which plays in the first couple of minutes of the film. There is so much that you can take away from this film, even if you're not from a religious background, because I honestly don't think that that's what it's trying to encourage here. But speaking from personal experience, this definitely encouraged me as a young Roman Catholic growing up, and definitely something that got me very excited and very committed to that period of my life. So if there's any parents watching this videos with young Roman Catholic children, I highly doubt they would be watching this channel. I highly doubt they would be watching Movies and Milk. But by some divine miracle, if you are a parent with young kids and you want to encourage them about the Bible, solely based or premised on a religious background, then The Prince of Egypt is a fantastic companion. I truly love this film with all my heart. I genuinely think it is such a fantastic film. It had so many wonderfully gifted and talented people working behind the scenes of the film, and honestly the animation is dated very, very well in my opinion. The songs still hold up incredibly well, they still get that emotional impact. If you haven't seen The Prince of Egypt, go and watch it, do yourself a favour, drop a wee comment below. If you have seen Prince of Egypt, let me know what you think of the film. Anyway, Mike, I'm going to pass it to you. I just realised I forgot my milk. Anyway, Michael, back to yourself. Yeah, I'll do that.
So I know I hinted that I could potentially discuss a Disney film in this video, but would you look at that? I haven't picked a Disney film. I mean, there are many Disney animated films that could have been eligible for this entry, but if there's one thing that I love more than Disney animation, it's stop motion animation. Just the fact that most of the elements in these films have been handcrafted and are essentially real life inanimate objects, just bringing that stuff to life, it's just inspiring. And as such, if we're doing honourable mentions, may as well just throw every stop motion animated film on there. But my favourite animated film of all time has to be Coraline. This film just holds a special place in my heart, and for so many reasons. This was the first film that I went to go and see in the cinema without the aid of my parents. It was probably the first horror film that I'd ever seen, because if you haven't seen Coraline, just know that there are some creepy images in there.
You're just in time for supper, dear.
And it is also that one film that inspired me to do what I'm doing right now. After seeing Coraline on the big screen back in 2009, I just said to myself, that's what I want to do. I want to be able to make that. And the film was in fact so inspiring that I once had aspirations to be a stop motion animator, before I realised that it could potentially be the second most stressful thing ever, besides disarming a bomb. But yeah, Coraline, again, the stop motion animation just gives it that sort of handmade feel. I appreciate the fact that it's a family film that doesn't talk down to kids. It's not afraid to just bombard them with nightmares. I love each and every single character. I don't think there's a single weak spot in this film. And yeah, not very much I can say about it. If you've not seen Coraline, give it a watch. And parents, if you have misbehaving kids, then definitely show them this film. Turn the lights off, show them Coraline, and they'll start to listen to you. Just say, listen Tommy, if you don't start behaving yourself, you could be getting a smacked bottom. Or worse, I'll go and get your other father to come and kidnap you. And with a threat like that, those little cretins will turn out to be little angels. You're welcome, parents. Thank you so very much for watching, and before I continue with this outro, let's just give a little round of applause to the fact that we managed to make it through the first week of this. If you enjoyed, please be sure to give a like and hit that subscribe button, as well as tell us in the comments section what your favourite animated film is and why. And again, I'm contractually obligated to say this at the end of every video, but please be sure to head over to the Movies and Milk Instagram, where you can find the 30-day movie challenge template. So until next time, stay safe, don't get up to anything stupid, and we will see you again tomorrow.